What's going on, guys? It's Char here, and I rushed home as fast as I could. I had a bit of a doctor's appointment drawing blood today, but I saw that the new article dropped, and of course, it dropped as soon as I was getting my blood drawn. But it is what it is. We are here. I'm not going to beat around the bush any longer. Fantasy Flight Games just released an article talking about Maria Hill in the new expansion box that is coming out in February, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Let's go check it out. Okay, so here we are at the article. I know YouTubers put on a lot of fake hype or whatnot, nowadays in the past, but seriously, Marvel Champions is all I've been like really into recently, and I'm super excited to see this because I think it's gonna deep dive into her hero kit. No more talking. Let's just get to reading the article, a bit of a first reaction analysis and whatever have you. Let's check it out. So it's called the 14th of November 2024, The Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Previewing Maria Hill, one of the two new heroes from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm super excited for this. I wonder how in-depth it's going to go. So here we have the art that we've seen before. It says, and a quote from her, "I want the suspect in custody yesterday." Okay. So it says, recently we provided a first look at the scenarios of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the next campaign expansion for Marvel Champions. Today we're taking a look at the first of the two new heroes, including that expansion, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. herself, Maria Hill. Read on to find out how she commands the forces of S.H.I.E.L.D. to bring the villains to justice. Oh boy. We're going to see the hero cards. I cannot wait for this. Okay, let's just take a look at them without reading the article. So her alter ego side, it's Maria Hill on both sides. 3 recovery, 9 hit point, 6 hand size, of course. So it says, you may include the maximum number of copies of 3 shield supports in your deck from aspects other than your chosen aspect. You may include the maximum number of copies of 3 shield supports in your deck from other aspects other than your chosen aspect. It's really weird wording. I don't know if it means 3 cards total or... Yeah, I think it just means 3 cards total, so it doesn't have to be the same card. Then we have an action. Exhaust Maria Hill. Okay. Search your deck for a shield support and add it to your hand. That is crazy. Oh my gosh, that is a crazy amount of tutoring on her alter ego card. She can just find anything. Obviously, it's a shield support, so it's kind of limited, but I'm assuming that a lot of the shield supports, there's going to be a lot more introduced in the box, and some of the classic ones we also have. That is crazy. It does take an exhaust, but I don't know. It seems good to me. Let's look at her hero side. So when she flips up, each ally you control gains the shield trait. That is so awesome. So cool. Thematic. It's kind of Star-Lord-ish. That's really cool. So there's probably going to be a lot of shield support, of course. The box is called Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Then she has an action called Reassignment. Move one all-purpose counter from a shield support to another shield support. Limit once per round. Okay, these shield supports are about to go crazy. I know a lot of the shield supports you call like tac team, medical team, surveillance team. They have so many counters. They come in with so many counters. I'm already thinking when you think of, oh well, Maria Hill's an ally, so obviously you can't play her and get the surveillance team in play because this is a hero. But if we have another card like that brings in like a med team into play or like a combat team into play, and you can just start moving those counters around, putting a ton of counters on the board. I could see this being very, very strong. And then her printed stats, 2-1-2 for 2 thwart, 1 attack, 2 defense, not bad. 9 hit points again on the lower side. She is just, a normal human, and 3 recovery is also low. Let's read what the paragraphs have to say. As you might expect, due to her position as director, Maria Hill's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 1B playstyle revolves around utilizing S.H.I.E.L.D.'s various assets to maximum effect. She can include the maximum number of copies of up to 3 shield supports in her deck from outside of your chosen aspect, and her alter ego ability allows you to search her deck from one of those supports and add it to your hand. On her hero side, Hill grants each ally you control the shield trait and can reassign all-purpose counters between shield supports once per round. This gives her an impressive amount of flexibility as it allows her to get use out of whichever support best fits the situation. For example, if she doesn't have any allies in play, she can move a counter from command team to support staff to bolster her resources to help her get set up or help pay for some particularly expensive supports. So here we go. We have command team. Oh, they're showing some of the classic ones. So we have an action exhaust command team and remove 1 command counter from it. Ready an ally. So that's, it's just a 2-cost support. It comes in with 3 counters. So we can move it to support staff, which is a new card in her hero kit. So it costs 1, uses 3 staff counters. So it comes in with 3 exhaust support staff and remove 1 staff counter from it. Generate a wild resource for a player whose identity has this shield trait. Oh my goodness. So this is a 1-cost wild resource generator. She can tutor on the first turn, which is crazy. And then she can also just always move these counter rounds from different supports to always just bolster up this wild resources. Really cool and really fun. But we see some particularly expensive supports mentioned here, and I see some 6 costs below. So we're going to have to see what this gets into here in a second. Maybe we read these 2 cards and then we'll read the little paragraph above it. The Iliad is a crazy 6 cost support. 6 cost is so expensive. We need to see what this is to make it worth it. So it uses 3 mission counters. Action, exhaust the Iliad and remove 1 mission counter. Choose deal 5 damage to an enemy, remove 4 threat from a scheme, or heal 3 damage from an identity. Those are crazy effects, and I know there's things that can ready shield support, so we're talking about these 6 cost support. But when you can get these like 2 cost, 1 cost things into play and move these counters around, I mean, this is insane. It's kind of like, it reminds me of like a Venom multi-gun here, dealing 5 to an enemy every turn, or 4, removing 4. That is crazy. I don't know how the numbers are going to work out in multiplayer. It gets a bit less insane, but if you're thinking pure solo, I mean, 6 cost to do like 6, what is that, 5, 10, 15 damage? I mean, like, it's just, that's crazy. It's crazy. It might be a bit expensive. I got to see how the kit works together, but it's looking like she's going to have a lot of depth here. There's also another shield support here, the Circe. I'm not really sure how to say it. It's a shield vehicle. It uses 2 counters. Action, I'm assuming this is going to play any shield ally into play, but let's see. Exhaust the Circe, remove 1 deploy counter from it, and choose a player. That player puts an ally into play from their hand. That's really crazy, especially if you're playing a lot of like really strong or high cost allies. It comes in for 6 costs. You're playing effective resource cost of 7, but you can keep putting counters on it, which is crazy. So if you use it for its base thing of putting in 2, 3 cost allies, you're already over the curve for what you would want to play. But the fact that you can just always move these counter arounds and keep it up basically the whole game, absolutely crazy. You can just put in so many allies for free. You can ready this up in another ally. It's crazy. Most of Maria Hill's kit revolves around the shield supports as well. In fact, since she has no attack or defense events in her signature kit, that is crazy. She relies on these supports to fill her combat roles. Cards like Reinforcement, okay, here's another one. Action, choose any number of shield supports with a combined printed cost of 6 or less. Place 1 all-purpose counter on each of those supports. So if you put these counters on all these like smaller supports, they're just like batteries for these huge supports that you can keep continually putting counters on. Okay, and Shield Director, there's another one, Upgrade. So it's an action, it's a title. Exhaust Shield Director, place 1 all-purpose counter on a shield support. This is crazy, the synergy this is going to have. Can grant extra uses to your supports while on the double. It's an event, ready any number of shield supports with a combined printed cost of 6 or less. So she has a built-in shield support ready. Lets you use them more times in a single turn. She also comes with some special funding. This is a resource card. Okay, after you spend this card to play for a shield support, place 1 all-purpose count. Oh my gosh, so she buffs her shield support she puts in play as well. This is awesome. Wait, this design space is so cool, and that's why I love this game. It's always figuring out new and creative ways to change how we just look and think about the game to help pay for more expensive supports, while also granting them an extra use to start off with, which is especially relevant to what comes next. And then she's talking about using them to pay for these cards, which are absolutely crazy. This goes from playing 2 allies for free to 3. This goes from, 15 damage to 20. I mean, that's crazy. As Director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Maria Hill has access to the agency's entire arsenal, and with that comes access to a fleet of unique helicarriers. Each of these mighty ships take form of a whopping 6 cost shield support, and they all pack a significant punch. The carrier within Hill's own kit is the flagship of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Iliad, which can deal damage, remove threat, or heal you based off whatever is the most useful. The aspect cards in her deck include 4 additional helicarriers, 1 for each aspect. Remember, her unique deck building ability allows her to include shield supports from out of the aspect. Okay, so it sounds like there's no limit. You can just put the 3 copies. You can put 3 copies of command surveillance team, 3 copies of combat team, and then 3 copies of the med team, and you can be playing leadership, and you can just have all of those, which is insane. The leadership helicarrier is a Circe, which allows a player to play any ally for free. All the protection is the Pericles. Oh, let's read this one real quick. 6 cost protection support. Let's see, uses 2 supply counters, exhaust the Pericles and remove 1 supply counter from it. Give a hero or villain a status card of your choice. Give an ally or minion a status card of your choice. Okay, so you can get a tough card on your hero, and you can get a tough card on an ally. That can block 2 activations, or maybe you can stun. I like it. It's not obviously as huge as putting an ally into play, but I like it. which can flexibly distribute status cards to allies and enemies alike. These helicarriers are essential to Maria Hill's game plan and are the primary targets for abilities that can redistribute or add all-purpose counters to her supports. And if the going gets tough, Hill can make the card haul to sacrifice one of those characters for some heavy damage. Oh, make the hard call, not the card haul. The hard call, it's a 2-cost event. So she doesn't have any attack or thwart events, but she does have this. Cost 2. Discard a shield support you control, deal X damage to each enemy, where X is the printed cost of the discarded support. Oh my goodness. So like when you can make the, make the hard call, if you will, when there's a 6-cost support in play that you're not getting any more use out of. Let me just drop the 6-cost support and deal X damage to each enemy. That's insane. So if you're playing multiplayer, you just do 6 across the board. Like, that is crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy to me. Okay, so let's see some of her pre-built leadership cards. I guess we're getting to the end of it here. The rest of Maria's Hill pre-built leadership deck continues with the shield theme. Call on Victoria hands. Let's read this. After Victoria hand enters play, ready as shield support. Just a classic. 2 thwarts, really good. A bit low health, but the readying the shield support is just so good. Agents of Shield to ready as shield support, then use organizational support. When you spend this card, exhaust up to 3 allies and or supports you control that share a trait with your identity, so all the shield supports. Generate the printed resource on each card exhausted this way. So this baseline is one. This baseline is a one resource card, but if you exhaust 3 allies or 3 supports you're not using that turn, it turns into a quad resource. That is crazy. So if you get all these smaller little shield cards, you use this 4 resource, boom, get in the 6-cost one, and then you start going from there. This is, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. This is so exciting. Wow. To exhaust Victorians for loads of extra resources for your next big card play, such as one of the helicarriers above. Grant Ward is an ally you can play for free. Shield Spy. Grant Ward cannot defend. This is free. Okay, what's the catch here? After you reveal Treachery, you may spend a science resource. If you do not, take damage equal to Grant Ward's attack and remove him from the game. This is really interesting. He comes in. He can be, rested and whatnot to, be like a resource suit or resource generator. He does get that two attack, up to 3 times, so 6 attack or 6 thwart, but you always have to have that science resource in hand, because then you're gonna instantly take 2 damage and it removed from the game, not even a discard. He's just gone. Is an ally you can play for free, but you have to keep an eye on him, or you may betray you at an opportune moment. That's a really funny card space and design. Finally, once you've got your powerful shield support set up, you can establish a front organization to protect your assets from nasty treachery. See, that's the big thing I was thinking of. Caught off guard turn 1 when you get the 6 drop down is basically GG's. But what is this? Front organization. Play under any player's control, maximum per player. Interrupt. When an encounter card effect would discard a card you control, discard front organization instead of discarding that card. That is really interesting. So there's like a couple of encounter cards that like get rid of your allies or get rid of supports. The biggest one is Caught Off Guard. This is awesome. This is literally what people say is like the, something like a Night Nurse or something like a Death Focus. It's like, oh, of course a Caught Off Guard comes up, I'm going to get rid of the lowest cost one. This is literally 0. This could go in a lot of decks. For event heavy or upgrade heavy decks, I really don't want to get caught out on that first turn. It's funny, it's interesting, and it can protect some of your big costs, because sometimes there's encounter cards that are like remove the highest cost support you control, and you're getting rid of your 6-cost ship. That's crazy. You just had the front organization, put it on the board, don't have to worry about it. A bit of a leeway. That's really cool. Loving the art, loving everything about this. With her heavy focus on shield supports and her ability to flexibly wield them to maximum effect, Maria Hill is a unique hero that offers a new approach to Marvel Champions gameplay compared to her predecessors. Keep an eye out for a preview of her counterpart in this campaign, Nick Fury, in the coming weeks, and look forward to the release of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in February of 2025. This is so cool. Oh my goodness. Dude, this design space of doing all your damage and like helping people out and helping the table with that ally build support. Oh, it's so cool. I love this idea. I love that she makes all her ally shield agents that can be, kind of rested for resources. That one card that, that leadership card that gives her extra resources for these big 6-cost supports that go on the table, do these crazy effects, moving all these counters around. I am so excited for this. I honestly, I don't even have like any considerations here where it's just like, You know, she's going to be exhausted when she flips up probably that first turn, but then after that, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. Like she can move the counters around. She's got the shield trait. She's going to have so many cool, existing, she's going to have so many existing synergies that I guess we can look at really quickly here. Okay, so I went to Marvel CDB and we're looking at the shield trait here. Like what are some like really cool and fun like synergies we can think of here? Like global logistics she can play, right? It's a shield support. Oh no, it's an event. It's an event. We're looking for shield supports here. These are campaign upgrades. I don't mind these. AG Coulson, you get to preparation. Oh, this is not the same person. I am crazy. For some reason, I thought this was a Maria Hill ally. I forgot Maria Hill ally is the leadership one. So you can put in Monica Chang, which is insane. She's gonna put a surveillance team into play with 4 counters. She costs only 2. And then just like a huge battery to keep giving your other big supports this stuff. You have Quake here, right? Spider-Woman. I mean, these don't super combo with the shield aspect or anything like that. They just kind of have the shield trait. I mean, Agent 13 is just a classic combination here. That 4 cost, but she's got 4 health, that 2 thwart. As she attacks her thwart, she can just ready all these shield supports we're gonna have in play. Super good card in this deck. It's absolutely gonna be crazy. There's other one like Dum Dum Dugan could see some use here. And Nick Fury, like let's look for a couple of the shield supports here. Going down. I mean, like we can ready helicarriers, like that's a shield support. Government liaison, this is another shield support here, which is crazy. You can play a shield card from your hand, reducing its resource cost by 1. So you already have that resource generator for basically every single ally in your hand. I'm not sure if the timing works on that with the allies because she makes all her ally shield cards. I'm sure it does. So she has a 1-cost resource generator. She has a 2-cost resource generator here. And since it's a support, it's basic anyway. So she can play that in anything. This is another basic one. After you play a shield card, Exhaust Sky Destroyer, deal 2 damage. Just a classic, just a ton of damage. You can maybe ready it up, play another shield card. We got stuff to ready an ally. We have stuff to choose to give some extra stats. You're the Triskelion. I mean, the Triskelion is going to be cool too because she can play any of these cards. Like, again, there's not like a ton of supports here. In Justice, she has these really cool, like the global logistics, homeland intervention type stuff she can do. Shield was an aspect that has really cool ideas in it, and it didn't really have that build out until it does now. I'm super excited for this. Let me know what you guys are excited for the most in her kit. I mean, it's just everything about it is so cool. The Iliad is just absolutely a crazy card to me. I think this is the one that I think is like, wow, this really put into, perspective. She has no attack or thwart events, but man, she has this huge like sky destroyer, a huge like, airship that she's going to come in and yeah, she's going to do some damage. The Circe is really awesome for multiplayer. I mean, I just can't even get over it. These cards are so cool. I could gush over it all day, but the video does have to end at some point. If you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like and comment down below what the card you're most excited for. Subscribe if you haven't already. I can't wait to see the Nick Fury reveal, and of course, I'll be right there reacting to it. Hopefully a bit earlier this time and not having to, get some blood work done on the same day. But as always, take care of yourselves. Have yourself a good one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.